So there's a lot of ways to make a slip knot, but I'll just show you the easiest one that I know, super beginner friendly. And as you get used to it, you'll find whatever way works best for you. But all you need to do is you take your tail, you cross it over your working yarn like that. You take this, fold it down, pull your working yarn through, and then it makes a slip knot. Let me show you again. You take your tail, you're gonna cross it over your working yarn, leaving a loop here. Then all you need to do is take this loop, fold it over your working yarn so that you can pull up your working yarn through the loop, pull it tight, and then you have a slip knot. Very simple. The way I do it, which is just a little bit faster and I've gotten used to it, is I take my tail over here, I hold that to the left with my left hand. I hold the yarn between my index finger and my thumb, and I have my middle finger here, which is just kind of going to spread it when I make a loop. Then I grab my working yarn with my lower fingers. I take this and I twist it, putting my thumb to the inside to kind of spread it. Use my index finger to grab this yarn, the working yarn, not the tail, and then I pull it through. So you can do it whatever way you want. There are a lot of ways to make a slip stitch or a slip knot. There's a lot of ways to make a slip knot, and as you move on with crochet, you're going to find whatever way's more comfortable to you. But that's two different ways that you can do it. Let me show you this way again, how I always do it. And I'm really comfortable with this way. I've been doing it a long time. It's just what works best for me, but you know, you'll figure out what works best for you. But let me just show it to you again. So I'll just show you one more time, just so that you kind of get an idea. And that's two methods on how to do a slip knot. So here is how we're going to do a chain. First, you start with a slip stitch. I have another video on how to do that, and I can link that below. So you're going to do the slip stitch. A lot of people make a slip stitch with their hook. I like to do it with my hands. But to do a chain, you're going to put the slip stitch on your hook. Now, most of the time, to keep it even and the right size, how you're going to do a chain is you're going to take it not up here. So not up here where it slants in on your hook. You're going to want it down here on the thicker part of your hook, behind the grip. So you're going to have it on the thicker part of your hook, before the grip though. You're going to grab the yarn with the hook and just pull it through that loop. Now after you pull it through the loop, you're not going to want to tighten it up. You want to leave it to the tightness that it is when you start. So we just make that slip stitch again. Put it on the hook. Pull it like just onto it. You're not going to want to pull it super tight. You just want it like just around here. That's just going to be a good gauge for your size to keep it even. And when you're first starting out, it's not a big deal if it's even or not. Most of the time, once you work into a chain, it's gonna even out anyways. But so you can leave it, if you want to work it a little bit looser, you can leave a little bit of a gap there. Most of the time I end up leaving a little bit of a gap and doing like a looser chain if it's for a foundation that I'm going to be working into. And if it's for like a strap or a tie for something, I like to keep it pretty tight, snug on there. But we just, you know, give it maybe a little slack. But use this part of your hook to kind of really try to stay more consistent on the sizing. If that's an issue for you, it'll help. But again, when you're first starting out, it's not a big deal if it's even or not. So you grab it, you hook it, you pull it through. Then you grab it and hook the yarn, you pull it through your hook. Every time you pull through yarn, it's going to make a new loop on your hook. So you just want to grab it and pull it through the hook that's on your loop. I like to use my index finger to kind of just slide it up and down, and my other index finger is here to control the yarn that I'm working with. So you just hook, pull it through, and then you make however many chains you need for your pattern. If you have trouble counting your chains, you're going to want to look. See, each little V here is a stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, another way, if that's a struggle for you, is if you turn it around to the back side, you can see these little humps on the back. These back loops is what that's called. You can count those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whichever way is easiest for you to tell the difference. And that is how you make a chain. Today I am here to teach you how to crochet into the back loop of a foundation chain. So this is just a normal chain. When I'm crocheting into the back loop, I try to make sure I make it just a little bit looser than I normally would. That's just going to make it easier. And it makes it a little bit stretchier. And I know that when you crochet or when you make your chains a little bit looser, it can be harder to make it consistent sizing. That's not going to matter. It's going to even out when you're crocheting into the back loop. So I'll just use a single crochet here to show you. You're going to take, and instead of looking at it this way and going into your stitch how you normally would, we're not going to do that. We're going to take, here's the front, we're going to take it, flip it over to the back. Now we're going to skip this first one and see this back loop right here. See how each stitch has this little back loop on it? That's what we're going to be working into. So you just go under. I like to just grab it with my nail a little bit and slide it in. That's what's easiest for me. Do it however it's easiest for you. Just get it under there and do your stitch as you normally would. I'll show you again. We're just going to go into that back loop right there. Now let me get a couple of stitches done just to show you what it looks like on the other side. So it's a little bit fiddly, it's a little bit harder and slower than doing it the normal way, but I really prefer to work into my starting chains this way on most occasions, just because what a nice, like, neat finish it gives. So I'll show you again. We have the front, here's the back, that back loop there. You're just gonna go right into that. Do your stitch like normal. So see, here's the front, here's that back loop. We're gonna go right in there. Okay, and then let me just finish up these last two. So right under there. And then I can show you. So here's the top of our stitches, right? Now here's the bottom of our stitches. It looks the same. It's very nice and neat. So I really like that. It gives nice finished edges. It also tends to be stretchier in my experience. So yeah, there we go. That's how you crochet into the back loop of a starting chain. How to do a single crochet. I have our little sample done so that I can show you easier. So all you have to do is put your hook through the previous stitch or your starting chain, whichever. Pull through, yarn over, pull through the 2 stitches on your hook. So super simple. You're gonna put your hook through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both the loops on your hook. So put your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both the loops. And that's how you do a single crochet. How to work into the back loop of a stitch. So in some patterns you might see back loop. You might see instructions to work your stitch into the back loop. Now normally, you see on the top here we have these little V's. Each one of these little V's is a stitch. Normally we would go under both of those to make our stitch. But if you're working in the back loop, instead we're only going to go into the back loop, right? So how I do it is, instead of going under like this, I'm going to take and kind of hold it with the top of the stitches facing me. So you see this V here, you just kind of plunge it straight and out the other side. I'm just doing single crochets here to demonstrate, but you just push it in just like that. You don't want to come up and hook it from the back. That's not how we do it. That's a different stitch altogether. You want to go in from the front and push into the back, only picking up that one loop, and then just do your stitch normally. There's a lot of reasons that you would do this in a pattern. It's used a lot for shaping. The biggest part is you can make a ribbed effect. So let me just finish up this little row right here, and I can show you the effect that it gives. So if you look here, it gives this nice ridged effect. You can see right here, that's the front loop that we didn't work into. And that just can give us a nice, like, kind of back and forth ridged effect. It also tends to make it a little stretchier. This is great to use for the rim of a hat or the cuff of a sweater. If you just do the back loop on each round, it's just going to go back and forth and make a nice little ridged effect. How to do a half double crochet. So I have just a little foundation here to make it easier to show you. So we're going to step up. When I do rows of half double crochets, I usually like to use a chain one step up, but every pattern is going to be a little bit different. Some might use two, some might use one. Just follow whatever pattern you're doing. But as a general rule, I usually use a one step up with a half double crochet. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over. We're going to go through our stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over. We're going to pull through all three on our hook. So yarn over, go through the stitch, yarn over and pull through. Now we're going to have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 of those. Let me show you one more time. Yarn over, go through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And that is how you do a half double crochet. How to do a double crochet. I've done a row of single crochets just to work into to demonstrate today. That doesn't matter. Most patterns using double crochets are going to tell you to chain 2 to step up your round. Some might say 3, some might say 1. Just follow whatever the instructions for your pattern is, but 2 is pretty standard, and I've already done that here. So how we're going to do a double crochet. Yarn over, go through your stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 remaining loops. Okay, let me show you again. Yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. Okay, I'll show you again. Yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So one more time, really slow, yarn over, go through your stitch, yarn over, pull through. You're going to have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 more loops. And that is how you do double crochets.